Game 3 of the Toronto Maple Leafs postseason with a 2-0 series lead over the Ottawa Senators here right now. Heading out to Ottawa for what's deemed to be an away game, but it sounds like there's a lot of Leafs fans making their way out to Canada, Ontario here tonight for this game. We'll break down what we have for lineups. I'll give some thoughts on what I expect of this Leafs team tonight, or at least what I hope they bring to the table, as well as our best bet. And it's all a presentation of Bet365. Let's not waste any time here today on the pregame video, as I know a lot of people are busy getting themselves ready to head on out to Greta Bar YYZ to join the boys tonight to watch the game and then be in person for the Leafs Nation after dark. As well, maybe some of you are heading on down to Maple Leaf Square, and you'll be joining us out there for producer Vic and I's first time ever doing man on the street interviews. So if you want to be involved in those, you want to do that around 5 o'clock Eastern time, we'll be heading down there before we head on over to Greta to watch the game. But let's jump over to the Daily Faceoff channel, our Daily Faceoff page that is, and see what we have for the Maple Leafs lines, where we have one change for tonight's game, and that would come on your third line. So with the first line, Nyes, Matthews, Marner stick together. Holmberg, Tavares, Nylander stay together on the second line. I know a lot of people had speculated what would happen with Pontus Holmberg, if a change in the lineup might actually also be reflected in a change in that second line where we could see Pontus Holmberg move. Not going to be the case, at least to start tonight's game. Holmberg stays on the second line. Down to your third line here, Bobby McMann, Max Domi, Max Pacioretty. Those are where we see the changes. Nick Robertson out. Max Pacioretty in. I don't think Craig Berube was overly thrilled with what we saw out of that third line, and specifically Nick Robertson in the last game. And then I think the penalty towards the end of the second period that allowed Ottawa to cut the lead in half, make it a 2-1 game, really jumped out off the page to Berube. We saw him take minutes away. We saw Robertson miss shifts from that point on. So then you end up with a situation here where Max Pacioretty, you're making your Maple Leafs playoffs debut. It'll come on the third line here tonight. I don't care that this guy hasn't played in months. He's a veteran. He's been skating. I think a lot of us think he was probably ready to come in before the end of the regular season, but you hold him out there, hold him out till game 1, so then he's going to make his debut here tonight. You had a winning lineup. They looked good. Nick Robertson looked good, but then you know what happens with Nick Robertson? He wears out. After however many games, he just doesn't sustain what he was doing before. So, scratch and score type player. He goes into the press box. Pacioretty comes in. Who knows? Maybe next game it's McMahon. It's Holmberg who come out of the lineup. It's Yarncroke who comes out of the lineup. Nick Robertson comes in and he scores a bunch. But for tonight, he will be wearing a suit in the press box. Your fourth line remains the same here. You're going to have Steven Lorentz, Scott Laughton, and Calle Yarncroke in the fourth line, who kind of had actually turned themselves into the third line over the last little while, had looked really, really good. Before we keep going and we get to our defense and our power play lines for tonight's game, as well as our starting goaltenders, which I think we just all at this point know what it is anyways, and probably don't need me to tell you. Just a quick reminder, the boys will be at Greta Bar YYZ tonight watching tonight's game, as well as doing a live post-game show. And then on Saturday, we will have a pregame show live at Greta Bar, as well as a post-game show there. 590 King Street West, Greta Bar is where you're going to be wanting to watch all of the Toronto Maple Leafs playoff games. So make sure to head on over there. Join myself, producer Vic, Nick when he's back in time, and then hopefully, as this team keeps going on this run, Jay Rosehill joins us downtown Toronto at Greta Bar YYZ as well. Let's head on over to see what we've got for defensive pairings over on Daily Faceoff here. Starting with the first pair, all the way through, it's staying the same. You're going to have your number 1 of McCabe and Tanev. You get number 2, Morgan Riley, who's finding ways to contribute offensively here more frequently. Brandon Carlo stays alongside of him, and then I don't know, Cale Makar, Simone Benoit, whatever you want to call him, alongside Oliver Ekman-Larsson. And I don't think OEL had the prettiest game in game 2 there. And that's a veteran guy who will not follow that up with a tough performance again tonight. So I expect him to be much better, which means the defense will just be better as a whole, and they've already been pretty good. So those are your deep pairings. Your power plays stay together. First Power play unit, Matthew Knies, John Tavares, William Nylander, Mitch Marner, and Austin Matthews. Your second unit, Bobby McMahon, Max Domi, Max Pacioretty, Morgan Riley, and Oliver Ekman-Larsson. Goaltenders, either side. Linus Ullmark looks to battle back from what has not been the greatest first couple of games for him in this series. Anthony Stolarz looks to continue to build off of what he had done in Game 2 after what was like kind of a criticized first game despite only letting in 2 goals. Anthony Stolarz here tonight, I think, has another big game. I want to talk about what I think the Leafs need to do. And, you know, what they will do, who knows? It's the Toronto Maple Leafs. Things change every single night. But just my quick thoughts on what they need to do here tonight. There was a lot of talk in Game 2 about weathering the storm. Weather the storm. Weather the storm. And my feeling on it was, forget weathering the storm. Bring your own goddamn storm. And that's what they did in the first period. The second period, the third period, it was a much different situation. You were on your heels. You were like that boxer against the ropes, staying and fighting for your life just to get to the end, get to overtime. You win it in overtime, and it's amazing. It's a great victory. I'm happy that they got there and that they won that. The 2 periods leading up to that could have been much better. And if your second and your third periods are better, you're not going to OT. You're not stressing out about what happens in a do or die situation or a life and death, a sudden death situation in overtime. You do what you did in the first period or what you did in the first 3 periods of Game 1. You're going to be able to handle this Sens team. The other thing to note here tonight, they're back home. They're going to have probably a closer emotion level to what they had in the first game when they didn't really know what to do and couldn't handle themselves. Just stay even keeled. You've done a good job through 2 games here tonight. If you start to buy in, if you start to play that game, if you start to get caught up in it, then it's going to be a little bit of a messy situation. Avoid it. Play your game. Tonight is another opportunity for them to be messy, emotional, sloppy, all over the place. You have got this. Just stay even keeled. Take advantage of your power plays when they come up. Don't give them anything on the penalty kill. You're going to be fine. The one goal that they scored on the power play is Brandon Carlo making a great play to break it up going backdoor, and it just happens to hit off of him and go in. But otherwise, the penalty kills looked good. They've done a pretty good job of shutting down Ottawa's power play, and your power play, on the other hand, has been very good. So those things are all positives. The other thing, just a quick note for Leafs fans here, Leafs Nation. I'm reading all these whiny, crying Sens fans on the internet, and it's sad, honestly, at this point. You know, that's what this has turned into. Every year we go in the playoffs, and it's frustration with the performance of your own team. Those people, that city, they can't seem to take accountability for what's gone on the ice for their team, and the fact that they've been outplayed. It's the refs. If you got different reffing, it would be okay. It would be in your favor. Look, at the end of the day, you're giving this team nothing, and you've given this fan base nothing. So Leafs fans, don't engage. Don't listen to them. The Maple Leafs have been the better team. They've had the better goaltending. They're getting the better special teams. They've just taken advantage of the Ottawa Senators at every opportunity they can. This Leafs team needs to roll in there tonight, just thump the absolute living fucking shit out of the Ottawa Senators, take this thing, go up 3-0, and you will be in control here as you head into Game 4, where they are going to be in panic mode. Their coach is whining about stuff, their captain's whining about stuff, the guys on the ice are whining about stuff, the fans are whining about stuff. It's a whole lot of fucking whining coming out of there, and not much playing. If you show up, you play your game, you do your thing, and you don't worry about that, you're going to have this thing wrapped up by Saturday. So who cares what they say? Who cares what they do? Let's absolutely roll through this thing and take it Leafs in 4. Let's now go to our best bet segment presented by Bet365. And I mean, it's not been the prettiest of times here for us on it, but hopefully we can get that in the right direction here tonight with that. After that loss the other day, want to get in on the action for the Stanley Cup playoffs at Bet365. They got you from game props, player props, totals, and the money line. You can even bet on futures like series winners, conference champions, and the Stanley Cup champions, and much more. Whatever your bet, it is never ordinary at Bet365. Download the app and get in on the game. An official partner of the Stanley Cup playoffs. You must be 19 or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, visit connectsontario.ca. Our best bet tonight, I mean, I looked around and I tried to figure out what I wanted to do, and I thought about some of the some different guys, and I ended up coming to the point here where I've decided I want the big boys to score. And I think William Nylander is probably a good way to look. Matthews is a good way to look. But there's a guy here who I think can really make an impact, especially in a game like this in Ottawa, where you're not going to get the last change. You're going to have to take advantage probably physically here because they're going to bring some intensity, and it's a guy who can match that. So you're going to head on over to Bet365 in the player prop section of tonight's game. You find there in the anytime goal scorer segment where you're going to find Matthew Knies plus 300 anytime goal. $50 on this one. A half unit profits you $150. That's the way to go about this one. Physical, playoff type guy. Things grind down to a halt. They get slow. They get tight. They get mucky. It's a guy like Matthew Knies who finds a way to break through and take control and leave his mark on a game. I think he shows up big here tonight for this Leafs team. I do feel like we are waiting for that Matthews and Nylander game. Those guys aren't bad looks here. You can find Matthews plus 140, Nylander plus 180 on Bet365. I don't mind those. Leafs money line plus 110 right now on Bet365 as well. Kind of like that. There's a lot of things I like here, Maple Leafs wise. Honestly, Leafs fans, at the end of the day, let's just take control of this series. First time you've had a 2-0 lead in a series since 2002. At this point, you're a different team. You've shown some different stuff. You're making some new waves, some new pathways here. Let's open it up and take a 3-0 series lead. The Sens, they do not deserve to be in this series with you. You're seeing so much complaining and crying online about refs and officials and too many men in overtime. These are Sheldon Keefe comments we've seen in the past when he was the coach of this team. That's not what you see from Berube, from Tree Living, from the guys on the bench alongside of him, from the players on this team. It's a different mindset. It's a different approach. It's a different feel about this group. I'm feeling confident in these guys, and I think they take it to the Ottawa fucking Senators, who just cannot stop whining. It's time for you to make them go back to their corner, make them go back to their homes, back to their wives and their kids and their friends, and have to answer why they're down 3-0. Let's take a commanding lead of this series. Fuck the Sens. Leafs in 4. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys at Maple Leaf Square. We'll see you guys back here tonight for another edition of Leafs Nation After Dark. Until then, keep believing. For more content just like this, including game previews, post-game live shows, Leafs Morning Take Monday through Friday with Nick Alberga and Jay Rosehill with special guests, as well as instant reaction videos. Make sure to be subscribed here to the Leafs Nation YouTube channel. Turn on notifications so you don't miss anything, and drop a like.